Here we go. What's going down? Look, man, welcome into Sports with Balls on my 191st episode. I'm excited about this show, man. There's a lot going on in the sports world, NFL wise. As you guys know, the draft is coming up. Gonna get into that here in a little bit. I just a lot going on. The NBA playoffs are kicking off. NBA playoffs, obviously. MLB is in full swing. Again, the draft coming up. Man, I'm stoked for this show. Couldn't make it happen without coming to you live from, as you all know, Chris's Tailgate. Put it up here on the menu. I'm down here at 2000 Bagby in Houston, Texas. Christian's Tailgate. There's 5 locations. The place is off the chain. It's busy right now. I've already got people hooting, hollering. Can't wait to voice my opinion and have them yell at me as usual. But I absolutely love it. That's what we are here for. Mike Scarborough, what's going down? Look, Mike is out of town. He's actually at the University of Texas alumni event, and they got a golf tournament that I was going to go to. But tomorrow's my birthday. April 22nd, it'll be my 45th trip around the sun. Yeah, but look, I've got kids, so it's not like I'm doing anything too important. But, man, Mike, thanks for watching, and I know you're having a good time in Austin, man, down there at the University of Texas. Hook 'em horns. I'll throw it up for you. Not a lot of people love that, especially you Cowboy fans and everybody that went to A&M here in Texas. But, look. Welcome into the show, man. This is Sports with Balls 191, Sports with Balls Live. Got some incredible news to share from you or share to you this week. We'll get into that here in a little bit, but got to thank a couple of people that are here, well, that help support the show and make this thing possible. Number one is attorney Brian White. This guy off the chain. He goes everywhere, man. He was in Vegas last week doing some attorney convention. Look, if you're in trouble for any reason, need a real attorney with real results, this dude's got the best phone number in the business. You know that I don't know if you know when you go to jail, but you can't take your cell phone with you. 713-500-5000, 713-500-5000. Brian White is the man. He will take care of you. He'll hook it up. What's up, Kevin Anthony? Mikey, obviously, like I said, Mike Scarborough's out of town. Lauren is out of town. So you got me for 1 hour of sports talk, man. Please leave your messages. I will get to them when I can. And, man, I love your opinion because this is Garage Talk Sports with Balls, man. Let me know your opinion on what we're talking about or anything in sports in general. We'll go over it. We'll get into it. Cannot wait, man. I love doing this show. It's the day before my birthday, so we're going to get it going. Oh, Stephen Truitt, what's up, man? Look, we'll plug him early. Bam! There you go. Stephen Truitt has Clean Fit. Go to Stephen Truitt's website for his Clean Fit stuff, man. It's unbelievable. I'll put it up here for you. Cleanathlete.org, man. Thecleanathlete.org. Stephen Truitt is the man, dude. Absolutely love. He was on the show this past week, and it was awesome having him on here, man. Baseball expert. And what I didn't know, look, y'all know that watch the show, that Mike Scarborough is an incredible athlete. That's why he's at the University of Texas alum stuff. And also TCU, I think since he graduated, I think Mike Scarborough's still number 5 or 6 on the wide receiver list. And he played with LT, which obviously LT gets 400 yards a game, so he wasn't getting thrown to that much, but he's still up in the top 10 on receiving yardage at the university, well, TCU University, Texas Christian. But, man, thank you guys for watching and paying attention. Those of y'all on YouTube, those of y'all on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, wherever you're at, man, thank you guys for watching the show, man. Absolutely love you guys. Couldn't do it without y'all. Coming up on 200 shows, man. Unbelievable. Also got to thank Corey Fitz over there at Fitz Roofing. This guy's unbelievable. He has branched out to Tennessee, Texas, Arkansas. This guy's unreal. Call him or look him up at Fitz Roofing, FITZ roofing.com or 832-521-3001. Those of y'all that are listening on the podcast, welcome the F in. Do we have a show tonight? And this is going to get pretty entertaining. And the reason I say that is because we don't talk a lot of NBA until the playoffs hit. And I've told you guys, for those of y'all that listen to the show, the NBA has got massive, massive problems, I think, with attendance. And we'll get an MLB here in a little bit. But for the fans, you don't really watch the NBA up until the playoffs because the stars sit. The games aren't that entertaining. You know who's going to win. And look, Vegas puts their lines up accordingly. Why do you think in the playoffs there's plus 10s and minus 10s and 12s in the playoffs? You already know what's going to happen. Like it's kind of frustrating, but we're going to get into that, man. And the number one thing we'll get into with the NBA is the only series really that matters right now or that anybody is paying attention to, and that is the Boston and the Lifetime Fitness Nets series. And I say that, I know y'all are laughing, but it is. It's the Lifetime Fitness Nets, and it's recreational basketball for them. And there's a reason that they're down 0-2 in the series versus Boston. Boston's a good team. T-E-A-M. Team. The Nets, who have been through turmoil the whole year, right? They traded Harden. They got Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons is apparently supposed to play, but who knows? Even when Ben Simmons does play, do you think he's actually going to do anything? Like, he hasn't even played with the team. We're going to find out because apparently he's going to play in Game 4, and they're down 0-2. Garnett and Kyrie Irving last night shot under 30% for the game. Now, is this a direct reflection of where the Nets are and how their offense runs? Because honestly, they don't really run an offense. It's one-on-one ball. If y'all saw the post-game conference with Durant, it was shocking. He was like, oh, they're double teaming me. I can't do this. I can't do that. I'm going to have to learn how to do this. I'm going to have to learn how to do that. How about kick it out to your teammates? There's only 2 players on the Nets. It's Kyrie and Kevin. And if they don't shoot over 35, 40%, the Nets are losing. I mean, we see that last night. It was Boston is a team. The NBA is a team effort. All right. A while back, you had LA with their super teams, like, right, you got LeBron and AD. Then you got, remember when you had, and this wasn't too long ago, you had Kyrie, Kevin Durant, and James Harden. Super team, correct? They haven't got out of the first round of the playoffs. That's not a super team. But guess who has? All these other actual teams that are making the Chicago Bulls. They don't have a big 3. DeRozan went nuts, and that's awesome. But they also have Zach LaVine. They've got a couple other players. And I'm not saying that Zach's a role player. But, man, they're a team. And there's a reason for that, man. It's unbelievable that the NBA has a team like the New Jersey Nets that are now down 0-2 to the Boston Celtics, who all year have been decent. They've been good. But you would think with these high-profile players that you get and you go after, and that they're down 0-2. And it doesn't even look good. It looks like they might get swept. What happens when people are calling Kevin Durant the greatest player on the planet other than the LeBron James lovers, and their team goes down 0-2 in the playoffs and maybe gets swept by the Boston Celtics? Look, they lifted the mask mandate on flights. Great. Awesome. I don't know how the NBA stands on their shots and what's going on with that. There's no chemistry on the net. They don't even have plays that they run. They don't watch the games. Remember, those of y'all that follow the NBA, when Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant went on KD's podcast and said, we don't need a coach, right? They don't need a coach. They said Jacques Vaughn could be their coach and they would still be fine. Man, y'all have not done anything with maybe 3 sure ballot Hall of Famers, and he just traded one of them, being Harden during the offseason. The 76ers are doing great. We'll get into Embiid in a minute. But Y'all have nothing. You're terrible. You don't have an offense. You don't have a coach. You don't know what you're running. It's like, go down the floor, throw the ball to KD. If he can't do anything, maybe he'll find Kyrie, and Kyrie will have to make some circus shot, and they'll be all right. In order for Brooklyn to win, they've got to go for 80-something points combined. And this is the playoffs, man. This is no joke, and that's why I really, the regular season doesn't matter much. Look, Brooklyn got in. They were one of the last teams to get into the playoffs, but dude, it's terrible. Absolutely terrible the way the NBA has this all set up, and they're playing an actual team in Boston who Boston could possibly go to the Eastern Conference Finals. I totally see that. Brooklyn, with the star power they have, has no shot. Y'all made fun of LeBron James and the LA Lakers with him and AD and Russell Westbrook and Carmelo Anthony. Now where do you stand on the Brooklyn Nets, who had James Harden? They got KD. They got Kyrie. Where are they now? Where are they now? It's role players when it comes to playoffs and when it comes to getting regular season wins and where you fit. It's role players, right? Those guys play massive amounts of minutes, and when you can't do the things that you're supposed to do as a superstar, y'all shot. First of all, I think KD was 0 for 10 in the second half, and when y'all shoot under 30% as a duo, and I'm talking about Kyrie and Kevin, you have to have your role players step up in a game like that, and they got worked. I mean, worked. First game, obviously, Jason Tatum hits the last second shot. I think it was downhill after that. They go down 0-2 after last night's game. They just look like they're in shit. They haven't played together. I think Kyrie and Kevin have played maybe 20 games together. And you traded away James Harden for Ben Simmons. What's Ben Simmons going to do coming back? What is he going to do for you? Distribute the ball? You got to score. Ben Simmons isn't a scorer. You have to score points, and Ben Simmons has no way of scoring the ball. Like, they'll leave him wide open. If you bring Ben Simmons back, it's just going to allow them to leave him open on the perimeter because he'll have to score 25 points, which he's not going to, in order for them to win. They're going to double team Kyrie and Kevin all day long. It's just, it's not an embarrassment for, actually it is. It actually is an embarrassment for Brooklyn. If you're a Brooklyn Nets fan and you traded away Harden, who Philadelphia looks great, to get a Ben Simmons that doesn't even play. And it's, look, that was supposed to be, if you're NBA executives, you want the Boston and Nets series to go as long as possible. That is the series, especially in the first round. That in order to, like, getting that series, the first game you thought, wow, this is going to be incredible. No, it's really not. It's really not. Kevin Durant and Kyrie, look, I said it on Monday, Kyrie flipping off the fans, KD just trying to give it his all, putting on a display. Kevin Durant was the most valuable player, two-time NBA champion with a team in the Golden State Warriors. The Golden State Warriors and Steph Curry have all the reason in the world to be not a team. Individual players left and right. Clay got hurt, obviously, but they've got all the makings of I can do this. Steph can do it on his own. No, that is, other than the 90s Bulls, that's the best team that we've seen, and you see what happened. Look, LeBron James won with the Cavaliers, came back 3-1 in 2016 with a team. It wasn't just LeBron. Now, LeBron was great in that series, but it was his team that brought him through all of that. And it's very frustrating to sit there and watch Kyrie and Kevin Durant blow this whole thing because they cannot play as a team. And they went on the podcast and said, literally, they could have Jock Vaughn as their coach and they would be fine. No, you can't, man. Coaches in any sport make you great. You can be a good player. You can. We can go back to Jordan. Y'all want to talk about Jordan? We can go back to Jordan. Doug Collins coached Jordan his first 3 years. Now, granted, Jordan broke his ankle in his first year, but after that, like 2 or 3 years, Doug Collins coached him. And Doug Collins was a great coach, but couldn't get the max potential out of Jordan, aside from him just taking it by himself. Once Jordan got Phil, it was over. It was absolutely over. The coach made him. Tom Brady, we'll go to the NFL. Bill Belichick and Tom Brady. Tom Brady fit into Bill Belichick's system, and it was incredible. He got coached by one of the greatest coaches in NFL history. And that's what made Tom Brady great. Drew Bledsoe went out with that injury. Bledsoe would have been probably just as good as Tom Brady for the last 2 to 4 years of his career if he wouldn't have got hurt, because the system was working for Bledsoe. Bledsoe and the Patriots were doing very well. But his coaching, Tom Brady came in, he was coachable. He listened. There was a system. It was working. Steve Nash over at the Nets has been on record saying, I cannot coach these guys. And you can't. They're going to do their own thing. Steve Nash looks like he is so frustrated that he's just willing to walk off the court watching Boston literally just break down his – it's not even an offense. It isn't. They're not even running an offense. They're not. It's pathetic to sit there and watch the Brooklyn Nets with one of the greatest players, and a lot of people say the greatest point guard in Kyrie Irving. Like, if you thought Kyrie Irving is better than Allen Iverson, you're way wrong. You're way wrong. And that's a lot of debate. Oh, best one-on-one player, this, that, and this. Man, if they get bounced and they get swept again in the playoffs, this experiment with Brooklyn is over. Steve Nash is your coach. You had Steve Nash as your head coach, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and James Harden. 4 Hall of Famers, one of them is your coach, and you couldn't even put together a series win. I'm sorry, man, but like, that shows you how sports are team-oriented and that a coach is vitally important. Pat Riley and the Lakers, you go back to Showtime with Magic Johnson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and those kids. Pat Riley, that's the reason they won. Magic was great. Kareem was great, but they would not have been great without Pat Riley. Wouldn't have. Coaches make the world of different when it comes to team sports. I'm not talking about Tiger Woods and his caddy. I'm not talking about anything like that. His dad with his coach, that's one-on-one stuff. I'm talking about team sports, NBA, NFL, Major League Baseball. If you want to even talk about that, there's so many stories about coaches. AJ Hinch with the Astros. Forget about the 2017 thing. Like, stop. Like, go back before that, how he brought the team into where they're at now. It's coaching these young players. Carlos Correa. Altuve wasn't that young, but Alex Bregman and those guys that were coming up through the league. AJ Hinch made them who they are. It was coaching. You have to learn. Coaches have to put these personalities in order to make them successful on the court or on the field and whatever they do. Steve Nash for the Nets looks like he is absolutely given up. And I don't blame him. There's no offense being run. It's a free-for-all out there. That's why I called them the Lifetime Fitness Nets, man. It's pathetic how these guys do these things, man. And I don't know how else to explain it other than you have to listen to your coach. And I guarantee you, Steve Nash has tried to coach these guys in the locker room. Like, what's he say? What do you say if you're Steve Nash to Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant at halftime? Hey, play better. Hey, why don't you run my plays? They're not running them in the first place. So why are they going to run them after halftime? They're not. It's a one-on-one game, and Durant and Kyrie Irving, if they don't have 80 combined, the Nets are losing. And Boston looks like they are about to run over the New Jersey Nets and, in effect, blow that thing up. Blow it up. I would put money that the Chicago Bulls or the Minnesota Timberwolves would beat the Nets because they're more of a team. Way more of a team. They are coached. The Nets are not coached. Very, very, I don't want to say frustrating to watch because the NBA's got to fix some stuff. That's part of it. And these guys, like, they're not coachable. They're conceited as all hell. They think that, they can do whatever the hell they want, and they're going to get away with it because they make more money than the coach. They can say what they want to say. There's no like. Take Kyrie Irving, for instance, sitting out half of the season because of his vaccination status. I'm not going to sit up here and tell you I agree or disagree with Kyrie Irving on what his political views are or personal views are. That's up to you. But you do work for a team. You are getting paid by a team. You can't sit here and tell me that series is 0-2 if Kyrie Irving plays the whole season. It's not. They would have more chemistry. They would probably be a little bit more coachable. But now it's like, well, here you go. I'm going to throw you in. And let's see if this lineup works. And it's not. It's not at all. Tom Cam, no one cares. People do care, Tom. They do. And it's only because this is a sports show. This is sports with balls. It's not just NFL with balls or MLB or anything else. Like, I was hoping that series would be interesting, and it looks like it's on the verge of being not interesting. And look, for us, Mike Scarborough's watching, and Lauren will be back next week. Got some great news on that. But people want content. They want interesting things. And Kyrie and Kevin Durant is very, very, very interesting. How do you go from having Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, and James Harden to being down 0-2 in the first round? First of all, you had to play a play-in to get into the playoff. But look, I digress, going back to Kyrie not being able to play for most of the season due to the vaccination status. But, bro, you're on a team, man. People are forgetting this. Why do you think Miami went to the finals versus the Lakers? They were a team. You can't name 3 members of that Miami team in the Disney championship. But they were a badass team. And maybe, according to J.R. Smith, they weren't smoking weed. Just saying. I don't know. J.R. Smith dropped a bomb. J.R. Smith dropped a bombshell. I'm not saying I blame these guys at all, man. They were smoking tough in that Disney bubble. What I want to know is who was providing 100 NBA players with weed. They making some money. I bet somebody out there knows. Thomas Quinlan, Kyrie observing Ramadan right now. Does that have anything to do with his play? I don't think so. And by the way, he broke Ramadan he went into the locker room. He had to get something to eat. He ate a banana on the sideline. Apparently that was breaking Ramadan. Look, Akeem Olajuwon did it and won a championship. There's a bunch of players that observe it. Sharif Abdul-Rahim did it, and he was absolutely incredible. There's a bunch of players that observe Ramadan and still play very well. I just think that the team effort between these guys is bad. Like, it's not. It's just they run down the court. There's no offense. There's no set plays. It's like, here, you get the ball, and I'll kick it out to you if they double team me. And that's it. And Steve Nash, you can see him on the sideline like, I have nothing to do with this. You can see it. He's like, I'm out. Like, I am out. Kevin Anthony, where's the waitress with the giraffe shorts? She actually is here. I don't think she's wearing giraffe shorts, though. Welcome into Sports with Balls, man. We are just getting going. We're talking about the NBA playoffs. Thank you, Thomas, Mike, Mr. Kim, all my followers out there that are watching. I'm by myself this evening. Mike Scarborough is in Austin, University of Texas, alumni thing. He's got a golf tournament tomorrow. He'll be back next week. So will Lauren. Got some crazy information to tell y'all, but we'll get into that. Anyone want to meet up at Twin Peaks next week? Mike? Who? Okay. If y'all want to meet up at Twin Peaks with Mike, y'all just go ahead and message. I love this, Mike. I'd rather listen to Jeff than Sports 610. Now, I'm not going to dog 610. That's local radio here in Houston, Texas, man. But look, this is Sports with Balls for a reason. I'm not going to get too much into the NBA playoffs. I will tell you the Grizzlies and Timberwolves face off again tonight in Minnesota. Series is tied at 1-1. And what I think, Ja Morant is the future of the NBA. If he was on the Lakers or Brooklyn or Miami or a high market team, Ja Morant would be making $100 million a year. That kid is phenomenal. Unbelievable. He's my favorite player in the NBA by far. Mavericks at the Jazz. The series is tied 1-1. Mavericks got lucky tying that series. Luka is hurt. He's going to try to play tonight. Apparently, the line is Utah minus 8.5. That tells me that Vegas knows that he is not 100% and will not play, which they're in Utah. I like the Jazz in that game for sure. Dallas without Luka, they have no shot. Even though the series is 1-1, great job by them. Warriors and Nuggets. Right now it's Golden State minus 2.5. It's in Denver. Denver has one of the MVPs. I wish you could do split MVPs because I would give it to Jokic and Embiid. Both of them are absolutely ridiculous. But I'm going to take the Warriors. They've got a new Fab Five on their team that is phenomenal. If Draymond Green, and I'm not a Draymond Green fan. I'm not. But if Draymond Green is healthy, he makes that team 60 to 70% better. Like, by far. Steph doesn't have to do it all on his own. They're awesome. Golden State now has moved up as far as winning the championship. I think they're third. Milwaukee lost a massive piece of their puzzle last night, and Chris Middleton went down with a sprained MCL. That sucks. Giannis Antetokounmpo, whatever, can't do that on his own. He just can't. The NBA playoffs obviously in full swing, and we'll talk about it till late June. That's right. That's how long the NBA playoffs are. It's unbelievable. They go till late June. But I did win. We'll tell you this. Your boy here won a 7-team parlay the other night, and 3 of the games were NBA. It was awesome. And I'm not a Dodgers fan. We all know that. I respect them. But because I'm an Astros fan, I'm not an LA Dodgers fan. But, man, I've been putting my money on the Dodgers. And, look, you got to be smart. Look, it's some incredible footage I saw today. Mike Tyson on a Spirit airline flight. Now, look, right there. I thought Mike Tyson was making some money. I did. Didn't he have that weed thing that he's doing? And then he had the bite off ear gummy, something like that. Why is Mike Tyson flying Spirit Airlines? I have no idea. But he was. And apparently there was a passenger that was taking pictures with him. And at first it was very, very harmless. And he took a couple of selfies with this kid. And then the kid was sitting right behind him. They were both sitting in the middle row. And apparently he just kept antagonizing Tyson. Now, you know, if you're a star athlete, and especially somebody like Tyson who has lethal hands, I'm pretty sure, wasn't Bruce Lee's hands like a weapon or something like that? This dude kept antagonizing Tyson. And what happened? Tyson gets up out of his seat and starts punching the dude in the face on a Spirit airline flight. Doesn't he have a PR person that books his stuff or a manager? I would never book Mike Tyson on a Spirit airline flight. Nothing against Spirit. I've flown Spirit before. It's cheap. It's quick. You want to get where you're going, but you know you're in for some shit, right? You know, like you're sitting next to people. It's cramped. Mike Tyson's in a middle seat on like row 20, not even the front row. And this guy goes ham on him, and Tyson had enough of it, turns around and starts punching this dude in the face. I got to think the guy got exactly what he wanted. He's going to be in a lawsuit. It's I don't know where legally where it stands. I don't like it. I hate the fact that you're allowed to just berate people, especially on a public flight, something like that. Like I don't like it at all. Like that you can do that to people. It's terrible. Mike had enough, turns around, starts punching this dude in the face. Wow. I don't know. Tom says maybe it was JetBlue. Maybe it was JetBlue. Maybe it was Spirit. I got to look up the article. Either one, they're comparable, right? Why is he on that flight in the first place? Especially row 20. Put him in the front. If I'm a stewardess, or I don't even know what to, look, I don't want to sound out of line because you know we're in 2022. Like you can't say flight attendant. Let's just say that, right? I put Mike up front. And if I'm up front, I offer my seat to Mike. You can't put Mike Tyson like row 20 in the middle of a JetBlue or Spirit airline flight. You know something's going down. And it did. And I can't even imagine. I saw the video. Mike turns around. He gets up. After he was very nice to this dude, he gets up, turns around, and starts. What it looks like is Mike is pushing this dude away. He's not really meleeing him, right? And you can see the guy next to him like, oh, wow. But obviously, flight was stopped. Mike gets off. Mike can expect a massive lawsuit. I don't know how that works. I don't. But I hope that Mike gets off this, because you see Kyrie in Boston getting hammered by the fans. You got death threats, and Baker Mayfield getting death threats from people. It's just, look, these guys are people. They're athletes, but they're also human beings, and you cannot say F you, talk about their children just to egg them on so you can get in a lawsuit. They're going to react. And you saw last night the White Sox kid, Tim Anderson, flicked off the fans at Cleveland. And this has got to stop at some point, man. Just because you buy a $50, $100, $150 ticket to a game, whatever sport it's in, does not give you the right to talk like that to another human being. They are humans first and athletes second. You can't do that. I'm with Mike on this. Apparently the guy was absolutely ridiculous to him, and egging it on, and Mike had just had enough. How are you going to egg on somebody that already, we all know Mike already is a little bit, he's got a tattoo on the side of his face, man. We know Mike, he's been in prison. He's probably supposed to be in prison a few more times. You can't egg on a guy like that. He did it completely on purpose, and I don't agree with it. And I hope Mike Tyson gets off. I really, really do. Thomas Kim, a publicity stunt. Why? Why would it be a publicity stunt? I don't think Mike needs any more fame at all. And if it was a publicity stunt, why is he on JetBlue or Spirit Airlines? He'd be on a different flight. The guy looked. You got to go watch the video. Go watch the video. I'm sure if you have TMZ or whatever, nice plug there, by the way. I'm sure if you have those, you can go check it out, man. I don't like how people can talk shit to these fans. The fans can talk shit to these players at any point in time and say what they want to say. You have got to be held accountable like they are, right? You can't. If somebody walked in here right now and started talking shit about my son, I would take it for a little bit, and then that would be it. I would have to. My son or my daughter, yeah, of course, I'm gonna say something, or I'm gonna act. You can't. That doesn't allow you to be able to do that to these athletes. You just cannot act like that and expect not to be punched in the face. And now, punching somebody in the face is not acceptable. Bullshit. When did that become not acceptable? If you talk shit to me just like they were doing to, first of all, it's Iron Mike. I get it. He should have gone to the front. I'm sure they're going to point that out in the court case or whatever the case may be, but you can't do that. You cannot berate somebody like that, man. It's not fair to them at all. But Iron Mike punched some dude, turned around, waylaid on him, and you can expect a lawsuit from that guy, whoever the hell he is. All right, man, let's move on to everybody's favorite topic, the NFL and the draft coming up. This is going to be fun, and I've said this over and over again. There's not a lot of quarterbacks, but it might be the funnest draft you've ever seen. Trade-wise, movement-wise, team-wise, this just looks exciting. This looks unbelievable, and we will have the first round live. We're going to do the first round live here on Sports with Balls. Cannot wait for it. It's going to be fantastic. It's going to be fantastic. The Chiefs. Everybody's talking about the Chiefs. They have 12 picks in this draft. 2 picks each of the first 3 rounds. That is massive. They have 12 picks in this draft. If you were going to surround Mahomes, you got it. You can build a whole new offensive line. You can build a whole new receiving corps. You can build running back. You have 12 picks in this year's draft. And all of y'all that are talking about first rounders, I'm going to give you a list of the best first-round picks in NFL history. In NFL history. And it's going to shock you. Number 1, Jerry Rice, 1985. Number 2, Peyton Manning. Number 3, Lawrence Taylor. 4, Walter Payton. 5, John Elway. 6, Ronnie Lott. 7, Emmitt Smith. 8, Deion Sanders. 9, Anthony Munoz. 10, Ray Lewis. Now, you heard those, right? Jerry Rice, Peyton Manning, Lawrence Taylor, Walter Payton, John Elway, Ronnie Lott, Emmitt Smith, Deion Sanders, Anthony Munoz, and Ray Lewis. That's the best first-round picks in NFL history. How many players were left off that list? Hundreds. Want to know why? They weren't picked in the first round. The first round's exciting, but those 10 are the best in NFL history. And the Tom Brady's, the Pat Mahomes, the Josh Allens. I digress. There's a lot of players that were not picked in the first round that are the best players in NFL history. This year's draft is going to be unreal. And now, leading into that, you've got Debo Samuel saying, I'm done with San Francisco. This, to me, is the most interesting story out there. Debo Samuel comes out and says he wants to be paid like a wide receiver and wants to leave the San Francisco 49ers. Why? Why? Is there something wrong with the organization? I don't think so. Is Trey Lance that bad of a QB? Jimmy Garoppolo not start. The San Francisco 49ers have top 3 coach in the NFL. Top 3 coach in the NFL. And they have been incredibly good the last 3 years. Why are they in so much turmoil? It just shocks me. Why does Debo want to leave there? I get it. The wide receiver market has blown up, and he wants to be paid wide receiver money. Anybody that's listening out there on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, y'all share the show. Please like the show. Follow us Facebook on every single social media site. We're on there. Please follow us, like, and share the show. Why does Debo Samuel want to leave the 49ers? Is it money? Like everybody else? Cooper Kupp came out and said the most amazing thing this past week that you don't hear from NFL players ever. It's not about the money. I want to be in a system and a city that loves me and cares for me. Kupp said it's not important to him. I don't think that it's really kind to approach that I take. I definitely think there's a place you want to be. There's a place that you feel like is fair. A place for me and for this organization. I'm not trying to beat anybody. I'm not trying to compare myself to anybody else. It's more about being in a place that's just right for both sides. That was the most amazing thing that I heard all week. That's why Tom Brady has the championships that he has. That's why all the Hall of Famers have the rings that they have, and that's why they're in the Hall of Fame. Not chasing them. Debo Samuel, I love what Debo Samuel has done. But in the system that he's at San Francisco, is Debo Samuel a Tyreek Hill? Hell no. Debo Samuel is Debo Samuel in San Francisco. He's not. Is he going to be that great on the Texans? Is he going to be that great on any other team that has a traditional like running back and or traditional offense that's not fit to be like, okay, line up at quarterback, line up at wide receiver, line up at running back, line up at slot? No. He wants wide receiver money, but that's not what Debo Samuel is. He's a multi-dimensional player, and that's what makes him valuable. Now, can he reset the market? Maybe for that. Somebody like a Cordell Patterson, because that's exactly what Cordell Patterson is. And Debo wants this $30 million a year to leave and go somewhere. Now, look, there's a few places that could really, really use him. Kansas City being one of them. They just got rid of Tyreek Hill, who ran the ball too. They did sweeps to him, but he's not a speedster like Tyreek. It'd be interesting, or it's going to be, because he has demanded a trade from San Francisco. And so it's going to be very interesting to see where Debo ends up and how they use him. I can see Debo's production falling way off. And he's going to want to be a star. He's going to want to be involved. People don't understand. I'll go back to the coaching thing in the system, man. It is where you are and where you fit in. Take the $20 million from San Francisco and run that team and be the star on that team. You go anywhere else, you might not be the star. You're going to chase that money. You're going to get that $30 million. Well, I don't think he's worth 30, but who knows? These NFL executives have just been like spending money on wide receivers unbelievably lately. But I really don't think that Debo, has he shown himself as this dramatic and incredible wide receiver? Is he a Randy Moss? No. Is he a Tyreek Hill? No. Is he a Cooper Kupp? No. He's a multidimensional player like Cordell Patterson. You take what the market gives you, and he doesn't even want to be running back anymore. He wants strictly to be a wide receiver. Where did he score half his touchdowns, though? On the ground. So you're placing yourself out of the market, man. And you were with a great team. You're going to go to somewhere that probably, I don't know his attitude in the locker room that makes up for a lot of it, but I don't like this at all. Thomas Kim says he fits well with the Steelers and the Ravens. Steelers would be a good fit for him, but Debo wants to be the man, right? Like, that's what he wants. He wants money, and he wants to be a wide receiver. That's fine. But, man, go to your strengths, because if you do not, you might get placed out of the NFL real quick. Cordell Patterson's been in the league for 7-8 years, man. And last year, well, the year before and last year, it was a breakout year for him. And he did all the things that Debo was doing, running, throwing, catching. Like, it was unbelievable. Is he asking for $30 million? No. Does he fit well in Atlanta's system? Yes, he does. Debo Samuel, I don't know if he fits well in anybody else's system. I don't know. I don't think he does. I think he fit well with Jimmy Garoppolo, who's not even close to a grade A quarterback. I think he fit well in that system. And that's what made him great, was the system that he was in, and that they could use him in the aspect that they did. I don't think that they can use him in other teams like that. They don't have Jimmy Garoppolo. You can't go to another team that has an A quarterback and think that you're going to run Debo down the middle. You're not. It's not going to happen. Interesting concept coming from Debo, demanding a trade. On the flip side of that, too, San Francisco, if he demands a trade and they have to trade him, where is San Francisco now? This is a team that went into Cowboys Stadium, beat the Cowboys, went into Lambeau, and beat Green Bay with Jimmy Garoppolo as their quarterback. Kyle Shanahan, incredible coach, man. And they have a quarterback issue now, whether they get rid of Jimmy Garoppolo and keep Trey Lance. And for all intents and purposes, all we've seen is negativity towards Trey Lance. That's all we've seen. Yet this team has been to a Super Bowl in the last 3 years. They've been to NFC Championship games. They beat Dallas in Dallas. They beat Green Bay in Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers, Jimmy Garoppolo beat Aaron Rodgers. Jimmy Garoppolo beat Dak Prescott and that incredible offensive unit that you guys love. But now, Jimmy Garoppolo, is he going to be traded? And Debo Samuel, like, why are people leaving San Francisco? I'm man, San Francisco could run it right back. They could. The NFC is not that hard. The NFC is very, very easy this coming up year, as opposed to the AFC. The NFC's cakewalk. But Jimmy Garoppolo's on the hot seat. Debo Samuel wants out. Wow. Like, why do you guys want to leave a team that, man, could potentially go to the Super Bowl again? again. I just, man, I don't know if it's the higher ups in San Francisco. Kyle Shanahan seems to be amazing as their head coach and has brought them, so far. But man, I think Debo strictly wants to leave for the money. I think we all know that, and that's the way it is, man. Let me take a second real quick to thank a couple of people, man. First of all, thecleanathlete.org. Steven over there, man, he is the man. Steven Truitt, he was on the show last week. Awesome guy and incredibly knowledgeable about sports. 281-733-4150, thecleanathlete.org. I've got some right here, man. It is a liquid mask for your face, all natural. Man, you can use this stuff for anything. Get through doing the dishes, spray it on your kids' hands before games, your face. Like it's going on the airlines now because masks aren't allowed, which thank God, but that's just my opinion. But man, thecleanathlete.org. It's an amazing product, man. Thousands of uses, 400 and something spray, 412, 418 sprays per bottle. Steven Truitt is the man. Go check him out. Sitting over here at Chris's Tailgate in Houston, Texas, man. 2000 Bagby, the Midtown location. There's 5 locations here in Houston. It is an awesome place with some of the best food around. Voted Houston's #1 hamburger, and it is that good. I know Mike will be back on Thursday. Lauren will be back. Oh, hold on. Mike will be back on Monday. Lauren will be back next week. Cannot wait for that, you guys. Sorry, y'all got the Jeff Michaels show for a little bit. Hope I'm entertaining and not boring. But the draft is coming up, and we were talking about Debo and how interesting I think the draft is going to be. And it's because you have the Baker Mayfield situation in Cleveland. You have the Debo Samuel situation in San Francisco. These people have picks. They can move up. There's so many scenarios that are going to go down in this coming up week's draft. I think this is going to be one of the most entertaining drafts that we've seen because all these players are demanding. AJ Brown wants to trade, the wide receiver in Washington, the badass over there, he wants to trade. Debo Samuel wants to trade. Baker Mayfield, obviously, is good. Baker Mayfield's owed $18 million in Cleveland. They are going to move him. And isn't it crazy? This is wild about Baker Mayfield. This is absolutely insane. Baker Mayfield demanded a trade, and the whole league shrugged their shoulders. Literally, the whole league was like, What? He's not elite, but he's not some bum off the street. The whole league was like, nah, we're good. Like, some of y'all really need a quarterback, man. Is Baker Mayfield better than Kirk Cousins? Probably. Kirk's getting paid more, though. Barely. But it's amazing to me that the whole league is like, nah, screw Baker. But Debo Samuel demands a trade, and it's like, who would you start your franchise with? Debo Samuel or Baker Mayfield? Probably Baker. I told you he's a bridge quarterback, but you're going to start with your quarterback. He's not that bad. He's not. Y'all act like Baker Mayfield is the worst quarterback in the NFL. He's not. Not at all. And it's insane to me that the whole league shrugs their shoulders when Baker's like demanding a trade. But when Debo Samuel demands a trade, it's all up in arms. Like, everybody is there. Now I get it, supply and demand. A lot of teams right now, especially Kansas City, needs wide receivers, and it shocks me that Baker hasn't got more attention. But I think the reason is because nobody wants to pay that $18 million. I think he's guaranteed $15 next year. Insane. Like the NFL, this coming up draft, watch out. The #1 pick isn't safe. The #2 pick isn't safe. The #3 pick isn't safe. Like I told y'all earlier, the Chiefs have 12 picks. And there's numerous teams that have 11, 10, and 9. Like it's gonna be fun. There's a lot of piece players in this draft. There's a lot of players that can make a big difference immediately, not being quarterbacks in this year's draft. And it all goes down this week. I cannot wait. We're gonna have it live here on Sports with Balls. We're gonna do the whole first round with you. It's gonna be absolutely incredible. And look, Kyler Murray in Arizona. What is going down there? You had AJ Green come out yesterday, not really talk shit about him, but he did throw him under the bus. Larry Fitzgerald spoken out about him. That he's just not a good team player. It's all about Kyler Murray. And now he wants that money. He wants that money. When are people going to realize that that money does not equal a championship and not even close? Now I get it. The main goal is to make as much money as you can and get out. But these are athletes. I was an athlete. A bunch of people I know were athletes. They've got money. I know this is a big difference between 20 million and 30 million. I get it. But, bro, you don't need that much. Like, how much are you spending? Like, really? Are you blowing all that? No, dude. Do a Bobby Bonilla contract some way in order for you to get a championship. Because when you're done, whether it be NBA, MLB, NFL, what's the one thing that you want when you're done? It ain't the house. It ain't the 4 wives. It ain't the 6 children. It's the ring. It's the Hall of Fame. If you don't have that, your resume is tarnished. Your resume is trash. Charles Barkley gets hammered constantly because he doesn't have a ring. So many players get hammered because they don't have rings. They got to stop talking about this money and go with what fits them systematically. The Nets, Kyrie and Kevin Durant. Kyler Murray with Arizona. Aaron Rodgers, even with Green Bay. He just wanted money. Is Green Bay going to be good this year? Wow. Yet to be seen. If Aaron Rodgers takes the Green Bay Packers to the NFC Championship this year, I will put him in top 3 quarterbacks ever. Like, for real. Like, they don't have talent. They're bottom 5 in wide receiver core. Like, they are. That's just the way it is, man. This year's NFL draft is going to be a blast, man. We're going to be live from Christian's Tailgate this coming up Monday on the NFL draft. I cannot wait. You guys come up here. We're going to do the first round live. In my opinion, it's going to be one of the funnest drafts that we've ever seen. There's so many moving parts. There's a lot of trades that are going to go down. See what the Cowboys do. The Cowboys ended up making a great pick last year. There's a lot of things and a lot of moving parts on the draft this year. Cannot wait for it, man. We will be here at Christian's Tailgate doing the first round. We're not going to do the whole thing, obviously, way too long. But a couple of things before I get out of here, man. Wow, I can't believe it's already been an hour. The Oakland Athletics have had the worst attendance in baseball history for their first 4 games. Now, I get it. They're supposed to move to, I think, Las Vegas or something. They had 3,748 sold tickets. That's not how many people showed up. That's just sold tickets. Their opening night. 3,748. Oakland is not a bad team. They made a movie about them, Moneyball. We all know that they're all about analytics, but dude, that cannot stay. The owners will move that team. They have other offers. If you're an Oakland A's fan, get to the games, man. That is pathetic. That is unreal. Also, another quick note, this was my favorite story of the week, man. John Daly and his son signed an NIL deal with Hooters. Nothing could fit better than John Daly and his son signing an NIL deal with Hooters. It is fantastic, man. Way to go for his son. And like, awesome, man. Unbelievable. Look, got to thank a couple of people. Construction Concepts, changing corporate culture one design at a time. Hospitality, corporate, luxury medical facilities. Their team of experts can create or update a space that exceeds your expectations. Give them a call, 713-589-2682. That's buildithouston.com. Also, again, cleanathlete.org, thecleanathlete.org. Man, y'all got to check out this product, dude. It's unbelievable. Go to thecleanathlete.org or call 281-733-4150. Their products are flat out amazing. And again, we're sitting over here at Christian's Tailgate. Be back here Monday for the draft. We're going to have the whole first round live, and it's going to be amazing. I told y'all Tonight's games, let me give y'all some picks before I get out of here. Nuggets and Warriors, Golden State -2.5. Take Golden State. Mavericks and Jazz. Jazz are -8.5, and I think that Vegas knows that Luka is not playing, so I'm going with the Jazz. Grizzlies at the Timberwolves. I told you the Timberwolves, and they're already up by 7, so there you go. Hey, listen, thank y'all for paying attention to Sports with Balls. I am Jeff Michael. We'll have Mike Scarborough and Lauren Leal back next week, man. Thank y'all again. We'll see y'all Monday. We out of here.